Hello, this is Everett Pierce, and today is November the 27th, 2016, and it's about 5 minutes after 1 p.m. Now, on this duly noted part 4, we're going to discuss basically noting certain things amongst many people. Now, hopefully by now you have an understanding of who I am and how I think. Is when I look out upon everyone, it's like it's 50 million shades of brown. And then of the human race, depending on where we're at geographically, we adopt certain cultural things. Either you're eating rice or being in America, hamburgers. So these are cultural things. Where other cultures where they wear bones through their nose and they eat. So cultural is a topic upon itself. So that's how I think. So I struggle at the thought of others when they take the position of I'm white, I'm black. And so I'm struggling at that concept for people. Other than it's being used as a means of friction, of fighting amongst one another. So I'm still trying to understand and learn that concept of things. Not that I would behave that way, but as a problem solver, I have to understand certain things. Now, it's basically getting to know one another. Okay, now in this video, I'm going to use some very open type words. And some of these words you may be on the level where you don't want your children to hear this. So this be the time to turn off the video. Because as a man of communications, I have to utilize many tools in the toolbox of energy to bring forth the message, the learning message. Okay, because in this video, I'm going to use the word cracker, and I'm going to use the word nigger. Okay, not for slang, not for derogatory purposes, but for learning purposes of how we can get along one another. And so I may say a cuss word. So I'm a man of communications. So I'm going to use parables and examples. So I just want to forewarn you. Now for those, we have a lot of, in the current time of things, okay, we have a lot of this fear. We have the fear of racism. We're seeing tensions on both the lighter skin of the brown and the darker skin of the brown, and also fear and anxiety amongst Muslims, Islam. Okay, so my best advice to you, if your fear is towards Muslims, remember this right here, which is basically greetings. Okay, and I come to say, instead of being fearful of these people, and you're in their presence, okay, you say, Assalamu alaikum. It means peace and blessings be upon you. In other words, like, have a good day. And as, God, meaning the highest of evolution, that's what basically Allah stands for, the highest level of evolution. May God's peace and blessings be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, if they were to come to you and they say Assalamu alaikum, you say wa alaikum salam. Means peace and blessings back upon you. So we do that in terms of in America. Hey, how you doing? Have a good day. Okay, so do something as simple as that. Instead of looking at them and them thinking maybe you're mad at them or vice versa, is if you're presented to say Assalamu alaikum. So you're saying, first of all, you've taken it one step further, at least that initial step, to make a communications that they understand, and vice versa. They, a lot of them already understand hello, the American hello, greetings. Okay, and just like Mexicans, hola, hello. So they, just simple phrases that if I'm amongst hola, gracias means thank you. Just a few words that instead of standing there and looking stupid, or just, if anything, you want to remove the idea of, you don't want them to think ill of you, that you might be mad at them or vice versa. Okay, and that's why you initiate that, because everyone is going through multiple things in their society. They could have lost a loved one. They could have, maybe they're having challenges at work, and so people are going through a lot of emotions and a lot of things, and with family and children and everything. So, we have to eliminate, duly noted. That means be aware of, if you find yourself or been in that position, you say, well, damn, I thought he was pissed off at me, and it turns out that someone ran over his dog, and he was angry, and I thought he was mad at me. So it's that miscommunications that you will see that extinction uses amongst people. And hola, gracias, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. It's just, you're just saying, I'm not your enemy. That's the same. Because why would you go out of your way? So that's what I'm saying. There's in the world of things. Now you got to think in terms of Noah and Noah's Ark. Now Noah puts all these animals on there in the ark, and animals have two choices. They either become extinct, means they will fight each other and eat each other to the brink of extinction. Basically, their bones will go up in that museum alongside T-Rex. So the thing is, we are identified by our bones. So if another life form came 1 million years after us and they say, wow, we found all these bones, that is of the human race. So there's no such thing as a black man, a white man. We are of the human race. We are identified by our very bones. Now, we have to look at the bones a little more closely to see which one held what gender. Okay, but basically, we are the human race. We are a race that's considered superior. That's why everyone here is on this planet, because you have expressed at some point in your life wanting to the acceptance of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, meaning positive, negative, of energy tools that now you're in the development and you're trying to see how they fit together and how they work in a functional and a constructive manner. So now, in terms of what's basically going on today, and it angers me just like angers anyone else. When I see injustice, the cops are being killed, lighter skinned people are being dragged out of the car and being beaten by the darker skinned people, and then you got someone else. It just cause and effects. Okay, what's going to happen if you keep fueling that, putting wood to the campfire? Things are just going to happen, and it just goes like this: yin yang, yin yang, yin yang, and it's a never-ending fight. And the true winner of this is extinction. Extinction says, "Wow, play against nation, people against people, gender against gender." It says back. It says, "What a bunch of idiots! They can't even figure things out." And extinction is real energy, just like you and me, just like the heat that warms your skin. It is a real energy. And did you take notice that I didn't say devil? I didn't say Lucifer. See, the devil is a creation of man's creativity to understand and what represent negative energy back long time ago. Okay. And the devil would fall in the category of like Santa Claus. And Lucifer, who did exist, who's an alpha prime of evolution, basically to help move evolution forward when it hits a plateau. There's a negative positive, and there's a positive negative. And then there's one even higher than that. Okay, so that's where Lucifer is. So there's been a lot of misconception of things. People have misconceived and misunderstood Jesus. So if they did that with him, they also did that with Lucifer. Now Lucifer takes on a different form of energy, unlike you or I. And I have pictures of Lucifer in the shape taken on the form of fire. And of course, the Native Americans, they were just like, they saw what was going on. They were seeing a human shape in the shape of fire. And that's also seen on my Facebook. And you can see what gender he is. out of the form of fire. Okay, but we're not talking about that. Our true enemy, okay, we know the element of diversion or even illusionists. They want you looking over here, but the trick is over here. And you can't really see my hand, but that's how extinction wants you to think it is that, quote, black man or that white man or that cracker or whatever, to fight, for you guys to fight like this. Because, even Jesus says, forgive them not, for they know not what they do. Means that they're not understanding the laws of energy, the foundation of energy and cause effects of energy. So like, say for example, on the lighter skin getting pulled out of his car and being beat up by two darker skin, that started a chain reaction of energy. And then recently on the news, there was an older man, 62. Evidently there was a young, darker skin, 16 years old, was coming at him, and he thought he was fearful of his life, and he shot him. So there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of things going on right now. And that's why we all need to take a deep breath and just kind of relax a little bit. And now this word, it's not intended to be derogatory, but it's a tool that you can use to neutralize a situation if you find yourself in a unfavorable situation without adding fuel to the fire. Okay, so if I was to come up to you and say, hey, yeah, nigga, like as if I'm the KKK. Okay, do know you can't change a person's mind. Okay, do also take a notice if he's not hurting you. There's not other than just he's using a slang word, nigger. Okay, and you just respond. Don't focus on it's personally. Okay, think of it in the terms of he's saying there's a wall right here. When he says, yo, nigga, he's saying, okay, I need my space, is essentially what he's saying. Okay, you can't change his thinking, okay? But you don't want to add to it for, you call me nigga. And then you just have a fight, and it just like this, and it never goes away. Then your response is, good day, sir. Okay, you add respect. You're also saying, I'm not going to change your way. I'm not being harmed. You're not being harmed. And I'm going to respect the wall that you're going by. Because you're going to assume, it's like, okay, well, why is he in this derogatory tone? You don't know what's happening to him. Maybe he's KKK. Or maybe he wakes up one day and finds out some intruder broke in his family's house and killed them all. And it happened to be of a darker skin. So he's quite angry about anyone of the darker skin or look like the perpetrator. So that's why, until you get to know certain individuals, that if they do, just don't look at it as something personally. Look at it as he's saying, hey, okay, I'm not bothering you, don't bother me, and we're okay. And that's why you respond as, good day, sir. And it's the same way. If a black man came to me and said, yo, cracker, I've had people, I get a kick out of it, but some people, the white people would get offended, or even, like police officers, calling them pigs. Okay, so if you came to me and called me a cracker, I would say, good day, sir. I mean, I'm not going to try to change your way, and if you're not volunteering any more information so I can help to understand where you're coming from, because who knows, maybe you were in a position where in your job, and because he was the first cousin of the boss man, he pushed you out after you've done 16 years of the company and pushed some idiot in there. And of course, you would be also angry too. So there's multiple variables here that's playing amongst each other. And the true enemy is extinction. Okay, so my best thing is learn some basic, from all walks of life, whether you're Muslim or Christianity or Mexican or Latino, French, just know some basic conversation words. You want to just get right off the bat that I'm not your enemy. And I'm saying hello to you. And then for the fact that it's not native to my language, I made that one step further to say hello. Nice to meet you. So whether it's Ola and Gracias or Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. So, it doesn't require a whole lot of your time, just basic concept of things. And when you find yourself in that friction, don't automatically assume. I know a friend of mine, light-skinned individual, who's not only has had a perpetrator in his house that stole about everything out of his house, and his brother was killed. So, and it was of the darker skin, and there was no logic or reason for it. It wasn't like he was part of a gang or he was instigating the thing. It was a situation. I'm sure the person was looking for money financially wise, and we don't know why, why it was, because the way the economy is going up and down, some people just do things, they wouldn't ordinarily do things, but for the fit of survival, sometimes that forces people to do things that is considered wrong out of the means of self-preservation. So it doesn't mean it makes it right. It just means that they consulted to a forum that there are other options available, and you should always keep your options on the table. If push come to shove, if I've tried all my options, and the last one is to break in someone's house, and hopefully I can find a $100 bill so I can put some food on my table, that'll be my last option. And I have to prioritize it just like I would prioritize, and the word for it is hierarchy. Number one would be air, oxygen, because without oxygen, you die within minutes. Without water, you die within hours, or a day without water. And then the third element is food. You can go months without eating food before you die. And then the fourth one, which is sex, which is part of the symbolism of life. So that's why we put these things when we find ourselves in a predicament. And it's like sometimes you might have to bend the rules a little bit. But, but that's a judgment call you have to make upon yourself. And you say, well, is it going to hurt a lot of people? Is it not going to hurt a lot of people? So there's a lot, that's part of the problem solving that everyone goes through every day. So it's like, so getting back to this racial tension, help me understand you. I am struggling at people making reference to themselves as white, black, which is this racism. We've had religious wars, and it ended in the most tragedies and deaths among human race. The next thing in terms of war would be a war against an illusional element of race. We are all of the human race. Means if our bones are next to T-Rex, if we look at the bones of T-Rex and we say, well, that's a T-Rex. That's a T-Rex race of life. So when we see our bones, and I don't mean blood because all animals have red blood, they're going to say, well, that's a human race. That's the human race. So we're identified by our bones. So that is what stays behind. That's why we're able to find bones of dinosaurs that are millions of years old. Is we have to have at least one element that identifies to us who or what are we dealing with. So I guarantee if everyone just went to bones, next one, because of human behavior, and they'll say, my bones are bigger than yours. You're the small bones. You're the big bones. That's human behavior, But that's also extinction at play as well. So now in terms of the word, if you want to know history of things, is the term nigger, actually came from nigar, knee, like your kneecap, nigar, a long time ago, way before the pyramids, is a nigar. See, you had to identify people of a village, means this person was good at picking berries because they knew what was poisonous and what wasn't. This person was a good fighter, or he was able to hunt down animals. And a nigar was a person of higher intelligence, a servant, a slave of God, or the highest form of evolution. And basically his job or her job was the mediator to understand what's all going on within the system of things and try to bring a resolve. Okay, just like people like to think that Islam stands for peace. No, it doesn't. Islam actually stands for a problem solver. And the byproduct of when you come to an agreement of different evolutions, you automatically, the byproduct of that is bringing about peace. So it's because now is that instead of them wanting to kill each other, now they're saying, hey, okay, we're coming to an agreement here. We're being logic. You know, you have to keep in mind of the Noah's Ark and the animals. So it's like the animals have to learn how to cohabitate or learn how to be an extinctionist. So, and that's essentially what we are in this time of 2016. We are learning how to cohabitate. So in a sense, you could say the world, right? So in a sense, we are contained. I mean, we can go to the moon, but we're still fairly contained. Just like the Noah's Ark, the containment of animals. So let's broaden our thinking. And you'd say animals. Okay, let's replace animals. It means life forms. If life forms are unable to learn how to cohabitate in a functional system, then the end result that you will put on your resume is I'm an extinctionist. And other life forms are going to look and make an observation next to the T-Rex and the raptor, and they're going to say, that's a human race. And they weren't able to figure things out. They weren't able to bring functionality to things. And all they have accomplished when the dust settles is they were an extinctionist. Okay, so learn that two elements. It's real simple. If your neighbor, if there's Asian, see, there's different dialects in terms of the Asian, Chinese, Japanese. It doesn't take a whole lot of your time. Is learn what is statement of hello and goodbye. Just a couple of statements. Because when you take it upon yourself to learn something that is not indigenous to, say, your English or whatever your language is, you say, wait a minute, this person, that's an effort of stepping forward and say, hello, my friend. I'm trying to understand you, and I hope you can reciprocate, receive. And so the next time I run into you, you might find out he doesn't speak a lick of English. He might say, hello, Everett. Because he's heard someone call you Everett. And he also knows that hello is a form of greetings. Hello, Everett. And may not know any other English. I've had people like that. Hello, Everett. And I thought they knew English. And I started talking to them. And they say, no, speak English. But anyways, that felt good. And I say, wait a minute. It only took two elements to initiate that communication. So as we learn, especially in the military, when you take out the communications, a person can be paralyzed. And that's what's happening out there is people are not at least taking the 2 steps forward. And we get a lot of variety of different people. So if you want to remove, no one likes fear. No one likes that anxiousness. Okay, so either you live with that or you say, wait a minute, I'm going to learn how to say hello and goodbye in French today. And if you practice every day and you run across a Frenchman or a Mexican, hola, que horas, que pasa, what's up? Is you're adding, you're opening, you're building the evolutionary bridge. You're saying. Now of course, they still may kind of be cautious if they come up to you, if it's a black man, yo, cracker, get out of here. Okay, or a lighter skin come up and say, yo, nigga, or they come off, or even the darker skin calling someone a bigot. If someone says, Everett, you're a bigot, good day, sir. It means that I'm not going to change your thought. I'm not hurting you. I'm not taking your property. But good day, sir, means it's going to end right here. You've put up your wall. I'm going to respect that wall. I'm not going to take it personally. And I'm going to carry on with my day. That's how you do that. And you don't take it personally. Now, there's a difference between something that's personal. because I don't know what he's going through or she's going through, and they don't know what I'm going through. And that's why when you develop the communication, it's like you're developing your communication with God. As you develop it, you find, wow, all this time, the last 10 years, I thought you were pissed off at me and hated me. And then I find out I'm your prize and joy. You'll be surprised of how people think and perceive of you. You might find out this person thought you were out to kill them the last 2 years. It is because of your timing of things. And you might find out you kept looking at him saying, wow, what a wonderful family. And he thought he's perceiving as you're going to come and kill his family. So that's why we have to open up the communications. Duly noted. It's called collective knowledge. So duly noted, okay, that means you're going to take the information. So when you bring in all this information, you're bringing it together. Just like communications. Communications is a form of duly noted and collective knowledge. You're going to try to understand multiple levels of the human race, and it's of cultural. So if I eat rice, okay, but what is say if I didn't like the rice because it upsets my stomach, does that make me racist against Chinese or Japanese or Koreans? No. And vice versa. If the Japanese and Chinese and Koreans don't like eating hamburgers, and say, well, they're against, they're racist against Americans. No. It's like, why do they not? So that's a cultural thing. So we have to make the division. If we're going to make a division, let's make the proper division. Okay. Limitations that you do not set. Okay. I did not set the limitations in terms of being the male gender. Okay. So that's why we have to have an understanding of this so we can relieve this tension. And we basically are telling extinction energy, which is just as real as you and I, has a behavior, has a personality. And we basically are telling them, pardon my French, fuck you. You are no longer going to use me against JoJo or this nation or this woman. No, I refuse it. And then instead of the extinction sitting back, what a freaking idiot. And he's saying, oh, now, so now you think you're smart, huh? Because extinction and I, if you're going to be forever life, then you have to know your opposing energy. For every action, there's a reaction. So extinction is on our coattail that always keeps us on the ball, always being awareness. Because if not, extinction is going to say, well, I have to do what I have to do. It's my job is extinction. So that's why I wanted to put this series out, Duly Noted. And when we explain certain things, you will know by the things that I say that I'm not blowing, pardon my French, I'm not blowing wind up your ass because I like to hear the things that I say and it makes me sound good. It makes me sound intelligent. No, I say the things that I say because I'm a good teacher. I'm a teacher of teachers. I'm the president of presidents. So I have reached a higher level of evolution. So, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I'm the 9, okay, I've gone down the ladder to understand all the levels all in between and be able to be functional. Just like we have the numbers system, we have to use them all. We can't be discriminatory and say, well, I don't like the 9. The 9 is too dark. The 7 is too light. No, we know that with mathematics that we have to use them together in a perfect system of understanding and calculating and find some kind of perimeters of understanding energy. So the same way with people. Even though we have a variety of people from size and height and weight and skin tone and everything, we are like the number system. The number symbolism itself teaches us how to behave in terms of a race. And the same way with animals out there. Animals don't take on but see, so it just, without being redundant about things, but if you just think about the numbers itself, even though I'm a 9, if I'm a 9 high level of evolution, I'm only as good as my weak links. Means if we all have to be together as a unit, And I went through the mindset of say, fuck you 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's just going to be me. And then we all become extinct. So that's why we all have to participate in working together and finding our place, just like a tempered piece of glass being broken in a million different pieces. So that will conclude part 4 of Duly Noted, using collective knowledge. Is we have to open up the line of communications, and we have to understand, we have to take note of what this person or this group, what they see is greetings, or what they, you have to eliminate, assuming things. All walks of life. Stop assuming things. If anything, ask. Say, she has a veil over her head. Learn how to at least 2 elements. Assalamu alaikum. She's going to respond, say, wa alaikum salam. Okay, then you'll know that, okay, we've opened up that line of communication. And at least you're being functional. If it doesn't go any further than that, because maybe you were part of the people that had family that died in the Twin Towers, or you had family that died in San Bernardino, California. So there's some things that people need to work out. But at least, at minimum, establish that communication. And even if it doesn't go any further. And you will find life itself will start opening itself up. And you'll say, life is not that bad. And then you'll be looking at JoJo, or JoJo will be looking at you and say, you're not much of a cracker as I thought you were. People like slinging words. I call word slinging. But actually, if this was before the time of Egyptian days, and you were called a nigar, okay, is nigar. Okay, and of course people then say, oh, you're going to be a nigger. That's how that term came about. Because, as I explained earlier. So, but it's been used derogatory, but when it initially was being used, it was someone, similar to the Pope. Someone that people can confide in, of, especially if there's feud and there's chaos or whatever's going on, is they will find an answer to it and try to resolve it. And the bottom line was self-preservation, is to make sure we survive as a human race. So hopefully I've enlightened your thoughts. I've expanded your using objective and creative, as I was teaching as Einstein. One of the 2 powerful tools that you have, objective and creative. And with that, this will end part 4 of Duly Noted.